the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Now, open one government agency. Yeah, immediately there's NDC administration under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Etu omo NDC so pa kan ho nsem make a series of allegations of corruption and corruption-related practices against that agency, the National Service Secretariat. Nti edru baby, the National Intelligence Bureau, in fact, echiche emu penifobia na omu edi animu during the SYL MPP's administration. Yehu yema me gift your worry. Say in ho eko kan adwamu eni nipa bia ne kaka ho. Edru baby kra no. Na ndi sim penifo ni bi kra ka se yewra Henry na nabo achi kra no. Je se yenchi no na yenkototo na no musa no munsa. Na nansem ye omrahye badwamu a. Eni ehunu se krata efri NIB asoye. And request Speaker Alban Somana Kingsford Bagbin say Omakwan na the members of parliament mienu in fact omo emeyi Nsem-Pii no ewo the National Intelligence Bureau asuye na the Honorable Kwame Asare Oben ya dodo na fe no A+ Gomua Central Mrashebejani and afi the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. In fact, these two MPs are now the invitation from the NIB. But afterwards, Nyome ko PM wo questions are ibusa here, answers a PM ba here. In fact, now some information no are a little bit silent in the media space. And no na nyumre lawyer Paul Adom Ochre. I want a good evening Ghana Jumedi so. E dia betu dwa say say the A+ koye na NIB office na nyasam kito. Na say amu somo he ya A+ ko twere Nsem-Pii say Ghana ye attorney general and the minister for justice Dominic Akurutinga Ayine doctor just say keta se sha dokro no sa de bi no oye corrupt twere Nsem-Pii bebrebe. Eno na lawyer Paul Adom Ochre mu A+ ko NIB office no say NDC for enim na oyefo ye wo mo edin a obebo no party no begu no na within the party enya lawyer enya Dr. Dominic Ayine nkwa na corrupt egumu se two enti se NIB for empene toto mpene no a omunya na life ma se no nti na de course wo ho nyina no ebesi na yente ho hwe no se eja pa ena edere ewo bucha na se the other interesting revelations ya lawyer Paul Adom Ochre na ogusu ye enyumre e won good evening Ghana Jumedis nti yenko na yenko jinchiro.
And the questions came up. Now the questions that came up look like this. Okay, so they invited A+ to come and talk about national service, the national service scandal. There's wide rumor now, and I should have gotten the video for you. When the Attorney General Dominic Ayine said that there is an MP who is who had apparently, as it had, been paid to manage the national service, what at that time was beginning to brew as a scandal. When the Honorable Attorney General said that there was some MP, the rumor, which is now gaining grounds, is that that MP in reference was Kwame A+. This is the rumor. Now, it is also further alleged that this is the basis on which the National National Intelligence Bureau, yes, the National Intelligence, sorry, I just saw Kwame, that's where the problem comes from. The National Intelligence Bureau, it was on this basis that the National Intelligence Bureau invited Kwame A+. Now, viewers, I wish we were houseflies on the wall that day from what we are hearing, or that there's some camera to produce what happened there. My goodness. The story is that Kwame A+ showed up with pomp, circumstance, and brutishness. He sat down and told the people, apparently they asked him one question related to national. He told them that, look, if you guys don't know, and you ask me questions, the kind of names that I will mention in this thing you are talking about, a scandal, you will run away. The story continues that he went on to mention some of the names. And some of the names that the National Intelligence Bureau officials had caused them to pause, because Kwame A Plus dropped heavy names and names of powerful people in the system. That's how we decided we will tell you the story. Powerful people in the system. And A Plus threatened that if they don't know and they come and ask him questions, in his effort to answer the questions, the kinds of things he will say, the whole country will come down. He added, the whole party will come down. I don't know which party. He said, the whole party will come down. I don't know which party he was referring to. But this is the story we have been told. He said, the whole party will come down if they don't know and they ask him questions about this national service things. If they don't stop the things he will say. One of the names that they said he mentioned was the Attorney General Dominic Ayine. That one we can say, because subsequent to that, he has come out to release a publication in which he is talking about Dominic Ayine and threatening him with all sorts of innuendos, as it were. But he is reported to have mentioned to the National Investigations Bureau that if they joke with him on this national service, that somebody has collected money, that some MP has collected money, if they joke with that story and they come and ask him some questions, the answers that he will give them, they will vanish from that place and the whole party will come down. I don't know which party. Over Kwame. Now, as I say, the crown, I say, oh, we can crack on. And I Kwame to say, I like his glasses, you know, fine boy. You know, so subsequent to that, Kwame A Plus came out to cast innuendos against the Attorney General. And I said here the last time that this is the only Attorney General about whom such spurious, is it spurious the word? No, about whom such grave allegations have been made. And we are waiting to see what happens. We don't know whether there's some behind the scenes talking. We expect that there will be some of that. But whatever there is, if there's a behind the scenes, it should not cover up any offense that has been committed against the public purse, nor should it cover up any offense that has been committed against the people of Ghana relating to money that belongs to the people of Ghana. We hope that there will be no behind the scenes conversation that will eventually cover up, because a lot of these times we hear somebody says, if you dare me, if you don't know, I will say that. And I wonder why they don't say it, whether they don't have love for country or what, but we hear a lot of that. If you dare me, you see what I'll say. If you have something to say, please tell us. If there's something that will aid national development, tell us. But these things they do, if you look at social media, there's a lot of that. Hey, me fa masem ko so, me fa wasem ba me so, unnim na ka masem bioma, ade na oye o danso man meka. What is that? Adena he did in Dansuman. Tell us, why are you threatening him? If what he did in Dansuman was something that affected the well-being of Ghanaian people, and you're a public speaker in Ghana, and you know that somebody who is occupying or trying to occupy the moral high ground, or trying to mount the integrity high horse, that you know that he has done something in Dansuma or Kotobabi or Mamprobi or Kwadaso or Kwamo or Ejuso or Tikrum or Bonre, just tell us. But they like to do these things. So you heard Kwame A Plus said that if Dominic Ayine doesn't know and he talks about him again, he will spew out everything. What is everything? What has Dominic Ayine done that is so sacrilegious? What is it? But anyway, this is the story from the National Cigars Bureau and when Kwame A Plus went there. This is the story, viewers. This is the story we are hearing. So those of you know Kwame A Plus, tell him that I was saying something about him. Is it true? And then he'll tell you whether it's true or not. The other day when we said something about him, he did a video. So we are expecting that maybe he will look at this and also come and answer the questions about what happened. Because he seems to have some information that he says will bring down the party. Which party? I don't know. But that's what he said, that it will bring down the party. If they don't know and they tempt him, Now, I have also been wondering, why is it that the Attorney General in his press conference delivered such a killer punch on Kwabena Idubuahi? All the things that he said about Kwabena Idubuahi, a lot of it that are not verifiable. Apparently, Kwabena is preparing a suit unverifiable things. Kwabena was not there to defend him. The Attorney General delivered it. Big punches. He's a thief. He's a criminal. He opened bank accounts. He said a lot of things about somebody is about to prosecute, somebody is yet to charge. But when it came to that MP who is reported to have taken money from national service people to cover up the scandal, the learned Attorney General said that he will not mention the MP's name. Is it coming? Is it coming small? So we are hearing that that MP in the conversation is Kwame A+, and it's as a result of this that Kwame A+ was invited by the National Investigations Bureau. And when they invited him and he went there, he spent only less than 5 minutes, because all he told them was that, hey, you people, if you don't know and you ask me questions and I have to answer those questions truthfully, the kind of names I will mention, the whole party will come down. Which party? I don't know. Kwame na party be na okobodin be coming down. Party be Ghana ha party menu pe your NPP, New Patriotic Party, in opposition, and your NDC, National Democratic Congress, in government. Also the Obas independent one for party. CPP or hot there, but CPP so parliamentary seats for the last 4 elections. So 2 parties in Ghana no New Patriotic Party and a National Democratic Congress. So catch there and Crawford say omu nim no mu tatawa and somehow be kano. Party ni na be for be nim be guase. Party ni na be say. Na party be we don't know. Which party was he talking about? We don't know. So that's the story that we've picked up. We wanted to start this way. It's not so much that we don't have all the information. We have it. But it will be coming small, poco a poco, precept upon precept. But this is the first one. Honorable Kwame A+ says that if they ask him questions, something will happen. All right, let's move on. This is Madam Justice Gertrude Tokonu Isaba Araba is the learned Chief Justice, and we know that there has been some petitions against her, and we also know that there's a court case that will be heard tomorrow. Apparently, the injunction application will be heard tomorrow. The injunction application was adjourned sine die until further notice last week. It's now been set to be heard tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Supreme Court building by 5 judges. Arguing in favor of the injunction will be Godfrey Yebo Adame, who is lawyer for the Honorable Vincent Asifua, Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, and arguing against the motion will be Dominic Ayine, the Attorney General, the embattled Attorney General as far as Kwame A+ is concerned. The Attorney General who is leading the oral investigation, the Attorney General who is leading the government prosecution is now being told by Ghanaians. Ghanaians are now hearing from a member of parliament that this same said Attorney General, according to Kwame A+, is corrupt. And we don't know whether that is correct. Kwame A+ is saying it. So the Attorney General is embattled. He will be in court tomorrow to make his arguments against the injunction. Before then, we have obtained, as have some other media houses, the document of the petition. Now, because we try to protect the integrity of the process, we are not going to show you the petitions in raw hand, but we do have it. We have paraphrased some of it and we have rewritten some of it, sometimes in very similar words, but the account that we're going to give largely reflects what is in the petition. Sometimes it is verbatim, sometimes it is paraphrased for the purpose of protecting the integrity of the process under Article 146. So let's start. All right. So this is the first petition. Now, the petition alleges that the Lord Chief Justice unfairly and unjustifiably ordered for the arrest in open court, and that the order is an abuse of office. So the petitioner here is alleging that the CJ unfairly ordered for the arrest in open court, and that the order is an abuse of the office of the Chief Justice. News portals that we found have reported that it was he, the petitioner, that was ruled to the bench, not just the Chief Justice, but the entire quorum that sat on the matter. Quorum just means the panel. Was ruled to the bench, and hence necessitating the arrest of the petitioner for contempt of court. So here is a petitioner who is a lawyer. He had a case in court. He went to the court. He was unhappy with it. He was unhappy with the verdict. And then he started throwing tantrums in the court before all the panel. The Chief Justice was sitting before all the panel. And what do? If it's in Parliament, the Speaker is going to ask for the marshal. We know that already. The Speaker will say, where's the marshal? Hey, take him out. If I go to Parliament and I smuggle myself in the chamber while they are sitting, and before they see I'm in the chamber and I say, hey, good evening, Ghana, come today. Hey, marshal, take this man out. And the marshal will come and bundle me away. If I wrestle with the marshal, he will hit me. If I hit him, the policeman will come. So that's what it is. So this petitioner then sends a petition to President Mahama that I went to court and Chief Justice said they should arrest me in the court. So President Mahama receives it and they are looking at it. And then when you check the date on which the thing occurred, and you check the date of there's a platform called the Law Platform where many lawyers are. It was reported in a Law Platform, completely condemned. That's where we got the information from. Completely condemned by all the lawyers. How can you do that? So he is petitioner number one. It's not very complicated to dismiss a petition like that, but we are not the Council of State and we are not the President. But from what we found, this is a no petition. In fact, the petitioner should be fined. He should be fined for bringing a petition, wasting the taxpayers' time, wasting Council of State time. But that's our verdict. We don't know what the President and the Council of State will decide. But the facts of the matter, as we check it, which we can all prove it, that on this occasion, this guy went to court and he threw tantrums before the court. And then the court said, well, sorry, we have to get you out. And they took him out. That is his allegation. Now, there's a second petition. Here, the petitioner alleges that the Chief Justice's recommendations for the appointment of more justices to the bench was unconstitutional. This ground has already been subject of other petitions, and the same ground has been dismissed. Further, a mere recommendation to the President does not usurp the President's powers to nominate members of the Supreme Court. This is a very interesting conversation, this one, because when it happened on social media, some members of the National Democratic Congress were sharing the document, and I'm not sure what the course of action is, but let's discuss it. So the allegation is that the Lord Chief Justice wrote a letter to the President in response to a conversation, a request from the President, an oral request from the President, because the letter says pursuant to our so the President Akufo-Addo in question here, the President had a conversation with the Chief Justice, made an oral sort of request that, can you send me some names for consideration for Supreme Court? That's what is in the document. And then the allegation here for the grounds of impeachment is that document. It was in a Kweku Asare document, and President Akufo-Addo dismissed it, but they've repeated it. So I don't know what the Council of State is going to do about that. He says that the recommendation that she has made recommendations for justices to come onto the Supreme Court and is unconstitutional. It's very difficult to assess this matter because the recommendations for the Supreme Court that the President takes, he can even take it from me. He can take it from anybody. He doesn't have to tell whoever what he's done. When the President is ready, he will take his pen with the Secretary in front of him, write a list of names and send it to the Speaker of Parliament. When the letter gets to the Speaker of Parliament, it is not part of the Speaker of Parliament's job to find out that, Mr. President, the name Paul Adumochi came from who? The name Paul Adumochi came from John Mahama, because you, President, John Mahama is your friend. And the other day we saw that you and John Mahama were at the Pinkberry at Hacho, near the Chicken Man. So we suspect that it's John Mahama who did this. And then they go and write a letter and say that John Mahama has made recommendation to President and that is not his job. So we are impeaching John Mahama as Chief Justice. I don't even get it. Whatever conversation the President and the Chief Justice had is inconsequential to the legal process. You cannot therefore say that the Chief Justice was making recommendations to the Supreme Court. It is the President who can complain. That's why I was asking that what is the course of action? Who is complaining? If the Chief Justice has usurped the President's authority, is the President who is the proper complainant in the matter. He can come and say that, hey, Mr. Speaker, the Chief Justice is usurping my authority because he has sent you a list when it should be me. But I don't see the head and tail of this. The list went to the Speaker from the President's hand. Finito, end of story. Whether Judicial Council participated and they have a right to do so under the Constitution, Chief Justice is a member of that. Whether the Chief Justice in his individual capacity wrote something to the President, whether a former Supreme Court judge sitting at home observed that the President was about to make nominations, wrote something to the President, said, Mr. President, please consider A, B, C, D. Justice Pegan is still alive. He's a former Supreme Court judge. If there are opportunities for Supreme Court, he can write to President Mahama and say, Mr. President, please consider Mr. Paul Adumatri, Mr. Godfrey Dame, Bafuewa for Supreme Court, because I think they are good judges or they are good lawyers. They are doing something like that. This is what they are saying, that because she wrote a letter to the president making recommendations, she should be impeached because she was doing an unconstitutional act. Who is complaining? This is the president's job. The president did his job. The president does his job by writing to the speaker. The president did that job and wrote to the speaker. The vetting was conducted. What is the point about this? But we are not the Council of State. The Council of State will look at it. But this is one of the petitions. Let's move on to the more detailed one. Now, this petition, we're going to take quite a bit of time to deal with it, because it's from a man called Daniel Ofori. Now, let me explain to you about Daniel Ofori so that you can get it well. In 2011, Daniel Ofori sued EcoBank to enforce the terms of a shared trade transaction between the parties. This would have compelled EcoBank to provide funds for Daniel Ofori to acquire shares in another bank. The High Court ruled in EcoBank's favor. Okay. Daniel Ofori is a very active guy at the Ghana Stock Exchange. He's one of the reasons why the stock exchange has been active. He's been there for a while. Daniel Ofori entered into a transaction with EcoBank. Sorry, we have to mention EcoBank's name, but the other bank we will not mention. And Daniel Ofori wanted a loan from EcoBank to acquire shares in another bank whose they had done, what do the bankers call it? A call-up offer. How do they call it? After the IPO and they need money and they do a call-up, that thing. So they had done a call-up offer, and so Daniel Ofori, as a shareholder, wanted to maintain his shares and acquire a few more shares. So he wrote to EcoBank for a loan, and then I think they were doing the transaction when, for some reason, the Bank of Ghana decided that that bank cannot do that XYZ, something like that. So in 2011, EcoBank then refused to advance Daniel Ofori the money. So Daniel Ofori sues in the High Court, saying that EcoBank has to give him the money. Okay. Now, the High Court rules against Daniel Ofori that you cannot have that. You can't have that. The case is entitled, I believe, Daniel Ofori versus EcoBank, or EcoBank versus Daniel Ofori. There's Daniel Ofori versus EcoBank, there's EcoBank, Daniel Ofori, several of them around. Okay, so this is the said Daniel Ofori. So he sued, and the High Court said, no, you can't have the money. Then he goes to Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal confirms the decision. This is in 2013. The Court of Appeal confirms the decision of the High Court and held that EcoBank was not bound to pay the sum owed to Daniel Ofori. Entered the Supreme Court in 2018. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Daniel Ofori and held that Daniel Ofori was entitled to a sum of 13.2 million Ghana cedis and 30% interest on the said sum from the date accrued from June 2008. Now, the first transaction was in 2008, the conversation about buying shares of